In the last chapter, we talked about formatting that you can apply to individual characters, such as font, size, and so on. Now let's get into formatting that you apply to a whole paragraph. I have my brochure document open from the exercise files folder, and I'm going to zoom in on this text in the upper left corner. Now, I'll double-click on this headline to place my cursor in it. I want to change my paragraph formatting up in the control panel, but I notice that the control panel is currently set to character formatting. That's this little button up here that has an A on it. I'm going to click on this little Pilcrow character, the paragraph symbol down here, and that switches the control panel into paragraph formatting mode. Now, technically, when you switch from one mode to the other, you're really just switching what's on the left side of this panel, because if your screen is wide enough, you can get both the paragraph and character formatting along the top of the control panel. It just depends which is on the left. Right now, in paragraph formatting mode, I see all my paragraph formatting on the left side, all the way up from here to here. Then, to the right of that, I see my character formatting, like font, size, leading, and so on. But right now, I'm just going to focus on the left side, the paragraph formatting. Now, you may have noticed that I did not select that entire paragraph. I just have the cursor flashing in the paragraph. That's all you need to do when you apply paragraph formatting. InDesign knows wherever the cursor is, that's where it's going to apply the formatting. Now, that's very different, obviously, than character formatting, where you do need to select the characters that you want to apply it to. Now, the most basic paragraph formatting is the horizontal alignment. Right now, this is set to left align. That is, the left of the edge is on the left margin of this text frame. But I can change that if I come up to the control panel and click on one of these buttons. Here's align left, but let's try center. Now the paragraph is centered in the column. Let's try align right. There are a number of these horizontal alignments, including align toward the spine or away from the spine. These toward and away from spine alignments are appropriate when you're creating a facing pages document like a book or a magazine. That's because those have a spine. They've got a gutter in between the pages, and you can make the text move toward or away from that gutter. In this case, I'm going to use right aligned. I'm liking that. Now I'm going to set some indents. I'm going to click down here in this paragraph, or I could select some of the text in the paragraph. Like I said, it doesn't really matter. And I'm going to set the left indent for this paragraph. To set the left indent, I'm going to choose this field here. Right now it's set to 0, but I'm going to change this to something bigger. Let's say 16 points. Then I'll press Return or Enter, and you can see the entire paragraph is indented from the margin 16 points. I don't actually want to do that, so I'm going to undo that with a Command-Z or a Control-Z. What I want to do is indent just the first line. That's the second widget down here, below left indent. This is called First Line Indent. I'm going to change that from 0 to, say, 18 points, and hit Return or Enter. Now you can see that this added an indent, but only on the first line. When you're trying to indent your first lines, you should definitely use that feature. Don't type tab at the beginning or a bunch of spaces or something silly like that. Use the feature the way it's meant to be used. Use first line indent. Now I'm going to use my temporary hand tool to pan over to this other frame. I'd like to change the amount of space between each of these paragraphs down here. Now, there's a fundamental rule of desktop publishing that says never type the same invisible character twice. That means you should not type 2 spaces in a row, or 2 paragraph returns in a row, even 2 tabs in a row. So, what am I supposed to do if I want space between these paragraphs and I'm not supposed to add an extra return, like this? Don't do that. Well, here's what you should do. Let me delete that. Instead, select the paragraphs that you want to change. And then in the control panel, change the space before field. That's this field here. I'm going to change this to 9 points and hit Return or Enter. Well, that's too much. I better go back there. Let's make this something smaller, maybe 3 points. There we go. I like that. InDesign has both a space before field and also a space after field. It doesn't really matter which you use. They both add space between paragraphs. But space before obviously adds space before a paragraph, and space after adds it after the paragraph. Alignment, indents, spacing, this is all just a drop in the bucket. In the next few movies, we're going to look at spanning text across columns, creating drop caps, tabs, and far more paragraph formatting.